Hi, I just bought the new car, but why? And what's the purpose of the car? This is what I'm going to tell you in this video. Here at the Kraft car dealership. I didn't buy the car here, but we are going to sell it here, and Charles Sabo, the head salesman, will tell you about it soon. Hi Charles.
Hi Zsolt.
The car is a project car. We booked the car modeled after the Wheelers dealers, so the car dealers Mike Brewer at China that needs a little work, but it's a real classic. This E39 is absolutely one of those for me, but we will talk about it soon. After we will fix it up, there will be a starting bid price, within the framework of which we will put up the car for auction and have the blood nights. But Charles will tell you how it will be sold.
Zsolt approached us with this project and we immediately said yes to him. To do everything for a noble cause. We will advertise the car. The car will be here for 4 weeks and the highest bidder will win it. We will offer the amount we receive for it above the starting bid to the Blood Knights as support.
Every week there will be a video where we log in with Charles and tell you where the bid is current. Feel free to come, try it out, drive it, admire it, because the car will be here and looking for its new owner. In this project we will collect for the Blood Knights, and here next to me is Zsolt Laposa, a volunteer, who will tell you what the Blood Knights are all about. But what is very important is that you don't have to donate just in December, you can donate it anytime. And since you transport the blood from hospital to hospital or wherever it needed, that's why I thought that if I were to do such a project, it would make sense. I'm doing this for a non-profit, but the part about it will be good to them, that they can function as well as possible, since they are not the first one on the checklist when the 1% has to be marked at the tax office. But now Zsolt told me a few interesting things off camera, which I will let you tell me what kind of organization you are and how you can donate to you. Since you can help them not only buy this car, but also mention the 4K Pro or note it in the subject when you transfer it to their account. I will put details in the comments, so you can help with any amount, but even with bottles and jars, am I right?
Yes, a little later.
Let's get started. Introduce the organization, the Blood
I am
Knights,
Zsolt
please.
Laposa,
Thank you.
a volunteer from Blood Knights. This NGO has been operating for 5 years, completely with volunteers and on a voluntary basis. This is about emergency blood transport. As you said, we work on orders and agreements from hospitals, laboratories, and health institutions. We already have nearly 50 volunteers. We travel with 10 vehicles, mainly in the capital. But there are also a couple of rural hospitals. The number of kilometers here shows how necessary this work is, because the 2 cars now travel about 800 kilometers a day, and they put a lot of emphasis on emergency blood transport here. Of course, there is also a simple transport task. But everything that is life-saving blood, or blood products that we need to transport, the volunteers really take on this work voluntarily. Everyone gives their free time, their knowledge, and their ability to do their job here. There are motorcyclists, there are car drivers, and we are very happy with all such offerings because technology wears out. With cars, you can calculate how many kilometers they travel.
I think about what kind of use it is. This is an emergency, so the full gas and the full brake.
It's not so much floor gas, floor brake. We need to find continuous progress, right? We have to be careful with the technology because replacing it is really similar, so it's quite a big financial direction.
So you can drive like an old person, like a hat, mustache and Suzuki driver, right?
No, we don't know for sure.
That's why we thought that if we started such a project, then I thought that I could support you, just like Marci Ballo, who is now your member. And I couldn't dedicate a day, a month, to supporting you by helping you deliver blood. And then I had the idea, if there are cars and everything, then there should be a good part of it. This is where the idea came from. You also told me about an application, how else they can support you.
Yes.
Which is very nice thing for me.
The 1% of the tax is the only thing we can base our support on, so to speak. And there are few such donations. Thank you again for thinking of us, or for thinking of you, that you can support us. Also, since this record-breaking bottle redemption started, which everyone is still on edge about, the QR code of our application transfers this amount to the account number of the Blood Knights. And really, If you go by car and only to a gas station where there is a repoint or a Lidl parking lot, or anywhere, you just take a picture of this QR code and don't even have to download the application. Before you throw the bottle in, you put it there, and it will arrive on the Blood Knights account. Automatically. This could be 100 forints or 1,000 forints. But we are happy about every single thing like this, and we spend it all on fuel and vehicle maintenance.
Thank you very much for taking the time to tell us what your organization is like, how it works, and how you can donate or collect. Don't forget that everything will be included in the description, so you will find everything there. And so much success and good work to you, and many lives saved. Because the essence of the whole project is a second chance for a car, because this is not only a car renovation, so to speak, but a new chance for this car. And for those people, when they get in trouble and need blood, you are the first to come to the picture.
I took a look at the car and it is really beautiful. I'm sure it will go to someone who will appreciate it and use it further. We thank you very much for this opportunity. We will report on what this money was spent on, and good luck with the sale.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Marty. I don't need to introduce Marty Ballo, as you know him well from Total Car. The car will be listed at your dealership, right? Charles and I talked about it. Tell me please a few words about the company itself. You recently started it. It seems very successful to me. You have a very good car selection, and I think the attitude is very special in the market.
We are almost a year old. We started in September 2024, and we have been sticking to the basic concept ever since. People seem to like this. To explain, this means that we don't have our own cars, we don't buy, we don't charge. And the simple reason for this is that we don't want to give people a cheap price, because we don't consider ourselves cheap, but those who bring their cars in within a certain amount of van commission system, we sell them. And so far it seems to be working really well. At first we bought or took out this area around us, and now we have an internal part. We are expanding into that as well. So we have more and more cars. More and more people are choosing us. I think it is successful.
How many cars do you have in the dealership, and how many are you selling per month? Because that's a pretty good number.
I think the permanent stock is about 45 to 60, of which, even if we don't advertise everything, what's here on the farm is about that much, and about 35 to 40 are sold in a month. I think that's not bad.
What's your goal? Expanding the field? Do you want to expand the terms of staff or units? What are your future goals with this?
The thing is, we don't want to grow too big because I'm afraid that it would be at the expense of quality, or that we would have to hire more people. Suddenly, we would have more tasks. Because the income is significantly higher, we wouldn't be able to serve people in the spirit and atmosphere that we want. So I think we'll stay at this 50 car level. We can still maintain this with a really good team, in a good atmosphere, so that no one gets nervous. And so we'd stay at that level. We don't want to expand any further.
I visit you quite often. You already sold one of my car. My question is, where did the idea came from? That there are chickens in the back, little garden. The atmosphere is absolutely like you are in a family, for me at least. Where did it come from?
We are quite relaxed during the day, and then we started to get bored. It all started when we got a dog, for which a kennel was built in the back. But then it turned out that Sofika, the Labrador, sees the kennel as the garden, and everything outside is the kennel. So she never went in there, and so we have to figure out how to utilize it somehow. At first, I wanted a camel, because you can buy a camel for 1,250 euros, but they wouldn't let me. Then I looked at something smaller, alpaca, but they wouldn't let me either, even though alpaca was only 900 euros and could fit 2. Finally, I realized that eggs are expensive. I didn't know how much eggs cost, because I'd never looked, and they were like 30 euro cents. So one chicken costs 1.1 euros. So I could immediately calculate that if a hen lays an egg every day, it would pay for itself pretty quickly. And that sounded good until I didn't know how much the food and all the supplements cost. So now they're in deficit, but they're not laying eggs. So the party's over, we're just shoveling chicken shit.
Are you sure you bought chickens?
Yes, I don't know. They're roosters, but they're quiet. So anyway, everyone who is interested likes it. Those who come to us usually come to see the hens, plus the raised bed next to it. And it's being built now. I wanted a cornfield.
I think you need a hectare for that.
But in the end, the guys voted for a pool for me.
Then I come next week too. The portion of the sale of this project will be offered to the Blood Knights, and you're now officially a Blood Knight. How did you become a Blood Knight? Let's talk about that, please.
How did I become a Blood Knight? The Lepo, whom the dear viewers have already seen on the show, helps a lot. The Blood Knights often gather at this base, and the Blood Knight cars and motorcycles are tested here. So there was always a Blood Knight thing going on here. He was always present. And then I asked him once what it was all about. He explained it, and the idea of doing something for the world, or giving something back to humanity from what I get from him, had already matured in me before. And that's why the Bamako projects existed, or they exist because we also bring donations to Africa.
Yes, I remember you carrying the box gloves at the
and
first
it's such
trip.
a great feeling. Plus, it switches me off mentally, and I can get quite absorbed in work. Plus, I want to do something charitable. Plus, the fact that you have to drive a car here, which I kind of like, came in handy. But you don't have to go all the way to Central Africa to donate. But even if it's not the classic donation, you're still doing something good for humanity or people. And then I asked, they explained it. I liked it. And I realized that I could take on 1 day of the 24 hours a month, which is an on-call duty. And that's the minimum. They expect you to take on duty for 24
Yes, that's
hours
exactly
at a
why
time.
I came up with this project as part of trying to help them in this way. Because I cannot do it, which you can, that you have to be standby 1 day per month, every month. And I said I can do it, but then I will try in a different way. So that's why this project started. Thank you very much for being partners in this, and we wish you much success.
We thank you.
This is the car I bought, not an M style, absolutely not. You're already driven this car. It's a 520i, by the way, and it's made in 2002. It's a 2.2 inline 6, a wonderful engine with 170 horsepower and 211 Newton meter, I think. Well, it has its flaws, and they will be shown in the next videos. How do you like it? How did you feel it to drive it?
I still say that it still holds its own in today's world. It has a very comfortable chassis, a quiet interior, a beautifully rumbled engine, and I still say that we should buy such a car and renovate it and use it or keep it alive and live happily, rather than buying any other newer model, because it can still provide that old feeling that when you are the driver.
By the way, you have a lot of cars here, including, for example, a beautiful Opel behind you, which you would say was worth a lot of money back then. So to speak, there were so many of them. Today they are worn out, and how they say Opels never wore out. But this car is still there in a beautiful condition. I like exactly these type of cars, which is why I choose this car, because it's a classic for me. When this came out, I had just been discharged from the military. At that time it was something absolutely unreachable for most people. But I think that today, if we fix this as we plan it here as a project, it can really be placed next to a 50,000 euro car.
Exactly.
And the people will say that they look at this on the street before any other 50,000 euro category.
There is humility.
There is humility, and I think the most important thing is that most people don't need more than electric windows, power steering, ABS, traction control, which is important for a rear-wheel drive car. You have a lot of space, you have to be safe, very reliable engine, and it has 283,000, almost 284,000 kilometers on it, but the transmission and the engine are particularly, I'm not saying it's like new, but in the end it's very close to. So that's why we are trying to make a car out of this, even if it's not new. Will be very new technically, and you look at it and say, oh my god, I went back to my father's time, he had one, and I got to sit in as a child, if you are that old. Thank you very much for this opportunity, for helping me with this project, for being partners in this. If you like this video, be sure to follow us and follow this project on the channel. Feel free to comment on your experience. What kind of experience do you have with the E39, no matter which engine, which motor is inside. And as I mentioned, it will not be an M series. There will be no M logo, stripes, nothing. This is a 520i, a station wagon from Switzerland, completely almost basic car, but even the basic car already has extras that are still perfect in 2025. Then continue to follow us, subscribe to our channel, share it if you have any friend who might like this video, and have a nice day. Bye.
Hello.
This project was supported by DDC Ltd, Comfort Gumiszerviz Ltd, Kedvenc Autószerviz, Oszi Szinter Kft, Kraft Autókereskedés, Prémium Car Services. Thank you.